So let's talk about the bad things that people are reporting are happening to their Toyota Tacoma. This is a 2025 TRD off-road, and I wanted to test these things on my truck to see if it's isolated or maybe it's trim level or model wide, to see if these bad things are happening to mine. First one is the bed squeak. This is one that I've just seen most recently, and it's not really the bed, it's more the suspension. There seems to be some sort of a squeaking noise coming from the suspension when the bed, or the back part of the bed, or the truck, I guess, is bouncing up and down. So first of all, we're just going to grab it and pull. I heard nothing. Now we're going to jump up in the bed and see if I can make it squeak by bouncing up and down in the back of the truck. All right, here we go. All right, we've got no squeaking sound coming from the suspension. I don't seem to have that in my truck, so I think I would call that isolated. This is the movement of the, I guess, the composite bed against the probably frame or even the bolts that hold it down. You may have heard it in the last one. I'm going to do this, then I'll grab the camera and show you what I'm talking about, but let's make some noise. Now, let me show you exactly what that's about. This one is common. I have heard this from many other people that have the same experience or sound, I guess, as to what I have. And what's happening is, for some reason, the bed itself, on its own bolts, I guess, and you can see those bolts up there. You can see the ones holding the little rails here on the sides, but the bed seems to be coming up and down, and even like a sticking sound, it seems like. Maybe there's some of that double-sided tape under there, I don't know, but there is movement on the bed itself up against its own frame. Definitely is a problem on the truck, and again, this one is common. This next one are paint issues on the truck. Been a lot of complaints out there, of course, as there have been for years, about the paint that Toyota uses on the truck. Quality, thickness, even finish. So I checked my truck and I don't really have any paint issues that I've been able to find, except for one or maybe two. Kind of have to open the hood to show you this one, and frankly I was very surprised when I found this to be the case on my truck. It's a real bummer, actually. Let's take a look up here and maybe you can see it better. Yeah, if you see in that corner, look at that. I'm talking about right here. Look how the paint is just kind of bubbled and maybe coming off, I'm not sure. Definitely not good. I don't think we have any issue there, and why we have it up here and not down here, I don't know. Nothing across the top, but when we get to the other side, again, same problem. Look at this right here. What a shitty job. I mean, that's something that I would expect to see in like the 1970s, right? Nothing in the corner there, I don't believe. No, maybe a little bit here as well. Yeah, there is. Just a horrible job with quality when it comes to paint. I mean, you shouldn't have any edge or surface where it looks like Toyota just kind of laid the hood down, I guess, and let the paint kind of run until it dried. I don't know what the reason is. It's a definite problem, something that Toyota needs to fix, and this is common. Next up is an issue with trim, particularly next to the driver's door, I guess. And I'm more talking about the plastics, I think. But if you look inside the truck, people are complaining that there are white marks or white spots, white stains, anywhere along the plastic trim where the driver is. To me, it kind of looks like wear and tear, really. I don't have anything on my door that I can see. Let's look along the pillar. And they're talking about things like this. You see all those little white dots there? That kind of stuff. See if I can... And it doesn't really come off. There's a little bit more down here. You can see right there. It almost looks like some kind of staining or something. Now, some people have complained, or stated, I should say, that it's because of the seat belt, which is also plastic, except for the end there, of course, hitting that when you take it in and out. Is it? It could be. It could be that you're gouging the plastic with the end of the seat belt as you take it off and put it back in, I guess, or on. I don't know if that's the case or not myself. I guess I'm going to have to pay a little bit more attention as to how I am putting the seat belt back. But I would say it probably is user error. I do believe that it probably is from the seat belt. This next one is very concerning, actually, and that is failure of the shock tower. I'm going to call it the top hat. I don't know if that's technically what it's called, but that's what I'm going to call it. So let's take a look at mine. If you look in under here, you can see the top of the shock tower right here. And failure has been right up above, that the shock kind of comes through the top, or that it just breaks all together at the top, like the metal here is not strong enough. I have seen a couple examples of that. Mine, of course, has a lift on it, so I do have a spacer in here. I don't really see any evidence of problems with mine, but that's something to be aware of because I have seen it reported. Now, could it be due to extreme use? It could, but there have been enough people that I've seen that have complained about it, or had it happen, I guess, that I'm not sure that I would really say that it's due to use or user error, that it is a bona fide problem, and that the structure here, or the metal, is just not strong enough and either cracks or breaks. Again, as you can see, I don't have any trouble with mine, but I do believe this one to be a problem. This next one is the tailgate. We got to take a look at this. People complaining about misalignment of the tailgate. Now, first of all, the tailgate does move back and forth a little bit, the way that it sits in here, because it can be removed. Now, I don't know if I can show it moving. Probably not. But it will move back and forth in its own framework. Is that a problem? I wouldn't say it's a big problem. You're going to have differences in gapping on each side. I don't know that that's a real problem. Kind of the way that the truck is designed, and it's just the way that it is. This next one, we have two more left, is phone connectivity. I'm talking about syncing up your phone with the infotainment system. Now, I do have this problem. This is a problem, but I don't know that it's really Toyota's problem. I think it's just a matter of, I guess, tech. As tech advances, software changes, and the truck just can't keep up with it. I mean, in some instances, after the truck is produced, it sits on the lot waiting for you to buy it, right? The software doesn't update. You have to take it in, have it flashed, if there's anything out there for it, before you can solve any kind of a potential phone problem. Mine is so bad that I don't even connect the phone anymore. I completely removed it from the system, and I just use the phone independently as the navigation, I guess, from the infotainment system itself. It is a bona fide problem. However, I don't know that it's really Toyota's problem. Lastly, we have the OEM or maybe distributor installed PPF. I had PPF on the front of my truck across the hood, and this is dirt, those are not scratches. I had PPF across the front of the truck, right? The problem is the installation was so poor that stuff got under the PPF and looked worse, I think, than if you actually had chips in your hood. The edges also started to fray a little bit. If we take a look at the PPF on the back, you'll see what I'm talking about. You can see here that the edge of the PPF has started to come off. Not a very good installation, in my opinion. You should never have problems like that, but my truck did. So I removed the PPF because I thought it looked worse than not having it on there at all. These are just a few bad things, I guess, about the new Toyota Tacoma that people are complaining about. Some that I do have on my own truck and some that I don't. Leave a comment, let me know. Are you experiencing any of these things, and are there more? I'd be curious to know. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.